Hi. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about TDD, the TDD challenge in front-end. Okay, so I'll start by saying something that you might not know. Most of you probably don't. We are at war right now, okay? Yeah, and we're losing, by the way. And I'm going to tell you why we're losing, okay? This is the war. We're fighting bugs. You heard about the legacy code. You heard about best practices and all that stuff. This is part of the war, and we're kind of losing. And one man actually gave us the reason. Please read this and digest. Okay. If I hear enough laughs, that means that you've digested. Anyone knows who wrote this? Yeah, who said that? Yeah, exactly. Wow. Okay. So yeah, we know him from like computer science year 1 or something like that. The unknown guy from algorithms. So that's the guy, and we're losing because people, most developers are infected. They are creating the bugs, and I'm going to show you the weapon that we're using to hopefully win this war. Okay, so why should you listen to me? Let's see. I'll tell you a bit about myself because I was already presented. So I'm a software architect at WalkMe. I was a CTO before. I was a neuroscientist before, if anyone wants to talk about it. I like it. Yeah, I really like this subject. I've done some stuff. I've been programming since I was 8. Yeah, it's all, I won't tell you how many years, it's sad. And, well, and I was a geek when I was at school. You might not see it, but I was a geek. And there's one thing that geek has to know really well at school. Do you know what it is? Running. Okay, I'm a runner. That's one thing that's left from school. So you see, it's like my history, things I learned during my life, and runner was like the first thing I learned in order to survive. And that's my son over here. Can you see him? Itamar. Actually, I won a half marathon, and he was with me for the last 2 kilometers. Actually, it was the kids' competition. So. But yeah, he won the medal as well. So you see, my son is also a geek. He actually chose chess and Dungeons and Dragons as his, whatever. I'm proud of him. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the musts. Every talk about testing needs to talk about what is testing, define some definitions, and motivation. We'll actually code, live code, TDD component, UI component. If we'll have time, we'll refactor, but I don't think we'll have time because this lecture is actually meant to be a workshop. And I'll talk a bit about legacy. We had a talk about legacy, but I'll touch it a little bit. We'll have tryouts for the army. I actually have uniform here. And the people who would be the best in TDD would actually win the uniform. So keep your eyes and ears focused. So, we start with the musts. Some definitions. What I think about definitions is they are confusing, okay? What I do is I work a lot with developers education, and what I noticed is that we try to categorize types of things, like, let's say, here, we try to say this is TDD, this is BDD, this is unit tests, but this is component test, this is integration test, this is UI test, there's so like a clutter of definitions, and developers are overwhelmed, and eventually they don't do anything, okay? You heard about the last talk about legacy. Unit testing, we save it to the end, it's confusing, we don't really know how to do it, how to approach it, it's hard. This is why I say just test, okay? Testing is for the developer. The developer needs to have trust in his code, and he writes the test that allow that. So, we get to the second thing, which is motivation. Let's see what I wrote about it. So, our army of developers needs motivation. Okay, an army of developers without motivation is like an army of developers without beer and pizza. Okay, it just doesn't work. So I could show you this great video, really great. You have to see it, not now because you'll fall asleep, but just watch it. It academically shows you how important TDD is, okay? Just watch this video. This guy is awesome. His talk is really great. But I'm going to show you how I convinced my boss to do TDD because it's hard. It costs money at first. Anyone knows this video, this movie? Come on, you're geeks. You're supposed to know this movie. Okay, so hopefully I have sound. Do I have sound, DJ, from my computer? Yeah. Let's see.
Sir, we'll find them, catch them!
Yes, sir! Prepare ship for light speed!
No, light speed is too slow.
Light speed too slow?
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed? Sir, we've never gone that fast before. I don't know if the ship can take it.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
Prepare ship! Prepare ship for ludicrous speed! Fasten all seatbelts! Seal all entrances and exits! Close all shops in the mall! Cancel the free-range circus! Secure all animals in the zoo!
Give me that, you petty excuse for an officer! Now hear this! Ludicrous speed!
Sir, hadn't you better buckle up?
Now buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go! What have I done? My brains are going into my feet!
What the hell was that? Spaceball 1. They've gone to Plaid.
We passed them! Stop this thing!
We can't stop. It's too dangerous. We've got to slow down first.
Bullshit! Just stop this thing! I order you! Stop!
Here, let me help you, sir.
Are you all right, sir?
Fine. How have you been?
Fine, sir.
Good.
It's a good thing you were wearing that helmet.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you got the message. Explaining something academically might not work, but if you try to use humor, it might actually convince people to do things. I hope you'll start doing TDD right now. But, okay, and I really like to do these things. It's fun. You should do it in, I don't know, whatever you want. So, after I motivated you, let's code, okay? How do you do TDD? Does anyone here do TDD? Ever done? Cool. Wow, that's a lot, okay? That's like a big percentage. 10% is like, wow, amazing. Okay, I tell you about a little story about myself. How I started TDD, I actually went to the university, studied C, C++, and then we have a course that I was supposed to hand something on, in Java, and I didn't know Java. So I just downloaded a course, like Java for Dummies, and they explained how to do everything with TDD. And I just handed some assignment with tests, and my instructor said, "What are you doing? What is that code?" So that's how I thought that I'm supposed to do Java. Write the test, and then write the code. And just think about it, that how you learn JavaScript, how do you do it? You just see a piece of code, and you learn how to do it, and you have like specification. You know how to do a for loop, and you know how to do a while, but no one teaches you how to test, okay? So that's probably why you don't do testing. It's hard for you, you didn't learn it, and you don't have enough examples. So let's do it. I have here special software called WebStorm. That's how it will work. Okay. So I have some framework I've built. Okay, it's a simple Webpack project that runs Karma in the background. Okay, I just started npm test. It runs Karma in the background. Currently, I have no tests at all. Let's see if I can do that. OK, cool. So I have no tests at all, and I have my specification. My specification is we want to build a model window. OK? It's a simple UI component. It has some overlay that darkens the screen, and you can add content inside, OK, over the rest of the website. So the first thing to do in TDD, in the TDD process, is to actually open the spec file, okay, or the test file, or however we want to call it. So because we don't really have a lot of time, I've prepared the setup in advance. Okay, but you can see it's a very simple setup. Luckily, we had the talk about web components, so now you know what web components are, and I don't really need to explain everything, but it's very simple. I just import some class. I define a web component with this class. Should be familiar to all of you by now. And before every test I'll run, I'll just create a new element from the new element I've created, and I'll take its shadow DOM. Okay? Don't really need to know right now why I've used shadow DOM, but it's a very cool thing. You can read about it later. Okay, so this is now my specs are ready to run. Still have no specs. And let's see what our API is. Okay? This is how I like to test code that I write. I write some code that someone needs to use. And the first thing I want to do is cover its API to know that I don't break the API when I don't know, upgrade or fix a bug or whatever. So we have a certain API. Let's say we want to make sure that our initialization works correctly all the time. We want to make sure that we have open model that also works as we expect, and close. Okay? So now we have 3 parts for our tests: initialization, open, and close. Very simple. That's our API. So the first thing we'd like to do in the initialization is make sure that we have should add overlay and content elements. Okay? We actually need the parts of our model window to exist in the DOM. So we'll just query the root. If you see up there, I've defined the root here and just got its value here. So it's just a simple element. Okay, so I just query it, overlay hidden. Okay, and just by writing this test, I'm already thinking about maybe you'd say it's in implementation detail, but that's what I've decided my API should be. Okay? I tell the customer or the user that he should expect these classes to be on the overlay when the model window initiates. I'll do the same for content. Query selector and content. Okay? And now what I'm going to do is to write my expectations. I expect that overlay.length would equal 1. And I'd expect that the content length would also be 1. Now refresh. Let's see. Doesn't find it for some reason. Let's see. Just run the npm test again. Probably lost connection. And OK, and it failed. OK, we see that the test has failed. And we just check the reason. The reason is that we did the second callback, the second parameter to our define function was not a function in itself. OK, so this is it, my model window. Of course, it fails because we didn't define it. So again, I've created some snippet. And OK, so here is what you've seen in the morning. I'm creating a class that extends HTML element. And now I want the test to pass. So all I need to do is write the template. Let's say it's a div class overlay hidden. And inside, I'll put the content. If I did everything correctly, let's see, what does it say? Oh, of course. So now I have the class returns, and it said that I didn't do anything to actually add the template. So this shadow root dot inner HTML equals the template. And now everything passes. Okay? I can carry on. The challenge is, if you want to do it, is to actually finish developing a pretty large part and only then look at the result. Because right now, my tests pass. Okay, so let's go to the second part, the open. The open should remove the overlay hidden class. So I'd expect this to, let's say, element.open. And I'd expect the, let's see, I'll first prepare the overlay. So, okay, so I prepare the overlay, and then I use some open method that I'd expect to be in my API, and then I'd expect overlay class list. I'd expect it contains overlay. Sorry, hides everything. Overlay hidden. I'd expect it not to contain the overlay hidden class. Okay, to be falsy. Okay, and now it fails. So I'll go back to my class and just, it fails because first we don't have the open method. So if we add the open method, save it, okay, see this? Okay, so now it expected true to be falsy because it didn't do anything here. So I'll do like this, overlay dot, I can just copy it from here. And all I need to do is overlay dot class list dot remove overlay hidden. Oh, what did I do wrong? Root is not defined. Oh, sorry. This shadow root. See, it also saved me from this copy-paste error. So now my test passes, and I can actually create this close very easily. So I'll just copy it here. I'll do element close, and I'd expect this to be truthy. Okay, it fails again. I create the close, and it's actually the same method. So all I need to do is add. And it passes. Okay? Another thing we need to do is one very important part of TDD is the refactor phase. Okay? So anyone can think of something we can refactor here? Overlay, exactly. So I'll just do something like that. Let's copy it here. And remove these. Okay, this is a pretty simple refactor, but make sure we have no errors. What did I do? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. You see, it saved me. Okay. Now test pass. Okay? We do the same thing for the content. Should add the content. And Okay, we actually don't really have time for this. But believe me that if I add the content, it would actually work. Let me see if I can do something really quick. I don't remember exactly what I did here, so let's just do that. You can see it's supposed to be a workshop. I've added too many files, sorry. But I can send you the repository, and you actually see, you can see that I've done step by step, like test fails, test pass, and you can actually follow the procedure. Okay. Sorry. So I hope I've shown you that it's pretty easy. If we had like 2 or 3 more minutes, I could have done the other parts, and you'd see an actually working model window, which I can show you later. A bit about legacy. Okay, sometimes people say that legacy is an excuse for not doing tests, but it is an excuse. Okay, if you have a legacy code that you want to change, first test it and then refactor it. Okay, this is like the safest path, and you'll prevent a lot of headaches afterwards. Do we have the time for the tryouts? 3 minutes. Awesome. Okay, so get into this address. And okay, everyone got that? It's bit.ly yk-quiz. And let's see if we have that. Okay, this is the game pin. Just turn it off. Wow. Anyone manages to get into this? bit.ly yk_quiz. Wow, we already have 7 players. You got like 6 seconds. And remember your name, the name that you signed up with. Wow, okay. Wow. Whew. It's like a spam email that I've sent, and I earned so much money. Whoa. Okay, ready? Everyone's ready? Wow, still signing up. I'm going to start. I think you can join after I start, so bear with me. Okay, so you can still join, right? I never tried to join. Okay, so just answer the questions. What is not part of the TDD flow? Cool. Whoa. Okay, so the right answer was design architecture. Awesome. Ready? Let's go. We have the high scores. Ready, people? Let's go. Code that goes to production without test is considered. Okay, people. You didn't listen good enough. Okay. Ready, people? Next question. Okay, it's a multiple choice. Like you can choose the whole 4. Whoa. Okay. You're getting better at this. Ready? Let's go. Oh my God. Okay. Those who chose the other three, please come to me after that. Okay. Next one. Whoa, people. It's dramatic, very dramatic. Let's go. That's like a trivia question. You have 20 seconds to Google. How fast do you Google, people? Nice one.
Yes, okay. Anybody? Questions?
No, I'm asking the questions. Wait.
Have you asked the question? Who's
I'm asking
asking?
this one.
You're asking.
Can you answer that?
Okay.
Okay, we have 2 more questions, people. You still have a chance to win the uniforms of the TDD army. Nice. Okay, and last one. Your last chance to win the uniform. Good music, right? Boom. Okay. Hope you learned something from this thing. We have winners. Okay, people. Come to me after the talk and I'll give you your uniform. And let's just finish things up. Cool. Okay. 10 seconds. We now know the benefits of TDD, okay? We learned it through this little trivia thing. We started building our application. I'll send you the repository. You'll be able to track it in your own time. We talked a bit about legacy code. And the thing is that you can make your apps lean and mean if you work with TDD, okay? So thank you, and let's build some great things with JavaScript.